Okay, welcome to our web indexing class part 2. Glad to have you here. My name is Karen Andrews. I am a state temple and family history consultant slash indexing. So indexing is my focus, and happy to see some of you here to learn more indexing. Let's go ahead and start with the prayer. Do we have a volunteer? Okay. Our
Father, we have a grateful to be gathered together tonight to just in this class. Grateful for Sister Andrews and the preparation for the time she spent learning and doing indexing. We're grateful for the opportunity we have to participate in this great work, and pray for the Spirit to be here in this class as well as touch us in our lives and be successful and be able to do thy work. And this we pray for in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. So, raise your hand if you've done indexing before. Okay, that's everyone. If you've done web indexing before. Okay, so the web indexing program is a little bit different than the desktop program, but basically we're doing the same thing. We're trying to make an index so names are easy to find with the computer. They can link on to people in your family tree and put a little blue rectangle there signifying there's an historical document that might, you need to be the judge, might go to your members on your family tree. If people quit indexing, all our hints, all our records kind of dry up, and that slows down the process of finding people and getting elementary sent for them. I have a quote that I really like about indexing. A sister said, because it involves service, sacrifice, and saving others, we felt its purifying effect. So any family history does that, but indexing also service, sacrifice, and saving others. And so you are the link to that. If you don't think that indexing matters, it does. People who participated in the 1940 census, a lot of people received a little email. So this was from a family member. It said, you indexed 1,512 names. 172 people were added to the family tree, and 117 ordinances have been reserved from participating in the 1940 census. So that was a really cool thing, that it was a big project for the church, but they got a lot of kudos back for it because people realized really what they were doing was making a difference. Ordinances being reserved, names are being added to the family tree. This one was about 10% of that. Now, it may be even more of that now, and if you stop and think about the 1940 census, people are still alive who are on the 1940 census, so they wouldn't necessarily be added to the tree. They wouldn't necessarily be, you know what I'm saying? So, but it does matter. It is making a difference. It is happening. So, I don't really know where everyone's at, so I don't really know where you want to start. There are a few things I'm supposed to cover in part 2, indexing. And yeah, those friends.
Oh, it's a cricket thing, so it's fine.
Okay, I know it's working there. Maybe some of that clip.
Oh, phone speaking.
So indexing is a really great way to get involved in family history because it's just little snippets of time that you can find to complete a batch. And most batches can be finished like within 30 minutes. So as you get more involved in family history, it gets more involved, but if you're just doing indexing, that's a pretty easy way to start, and again, making a difference for people and helping them get those ordinances done. So one of the first things, let's just go ahead to the indexing section. And when we go there, we can go to web indexing or find a project, either way. For a while, the web indexing was doing a better job than find a project, but they should both be fine. Find a project leads you to maps, and you can look at different countries. And then, like if you want to be in the United States, you choose United States or Canada, and it shows you projects. So you can go in either direction and then look at those. The yellow line and the red line show you indexed or reviewed. Reviewed is what the old arbitration was. So every project that's indexed, someone else reviews it. It's called peer reviews. If that person makes a lot of changes, a third person looks at it. But with the old desktop version, it was indexed twice, merged, any differences were arbitrated. So this way, it doesn't take necessarily 3 people to look at every batch. I think our indexers were all getting better, and they found that was unnecessary. So now they're getting what?
The reviewers are getting angry.
If people aren't following directions?
Yeah, at least for the kids especially, like to go through it.
Yeah, we need to be careful. Accuracy, if it isn't accurate, if the names aren't accurate, if the information isn't accurate, it's not doing the job, right? Accuracy is important. We want an accurate record. Well, let's do a good job. Let's make sure we read the project instructions. We'll talk about that in a minute. So let's go back over to the web indexing and see a different way to go find a project. You can go here to find batches. And when you go here, now I've got mine on favorites, and so I've starred some of these projects. I'm especially interested in England, and I love marriage records. So anyway, I've got 3 projects there that I'm working on. So, but if we go over here to all, you'll probably want to check beginning and intermediate. Even if you're a beginning person, go for the intermediate records too. There aren't very many beginning projects. Especially if you can read cursive, we need you. Our young people can't read cursive, which may be a reason that they're not as accurate as they could be. They have a lot of trouble reading cursive anymore. So mark those. I go ahead and type English into here. Anyone who knows more than one language, there's a cry out for indexed records in other languages. So if you can speak another language, they'd love to have you also do that. So such a great percentage of the records that are indexed are in English, and we need them in other languages. So if you have skills in those other languages, put those in as well. A lot of times if you'll type quick in here, especially as beginners, if you'll type quick in here, it'll bring up what's called quick batches. So those are even quicker batches. There might just be a birth certificate or a draft card or maybe 1 or 2. I did some of these Derbyshire ones, and they were like a page, so there were like 15 or 16 baptisms. So you can still start there. Do not feel bad about sending a record back. If you're just like, I cannot even read this, this is causing me stress, I want to quit, send it back. Serious. They say there's at least a 10 batch comfort zone, or whatever, I can't think of the word I'm thinking of, but a 10 batch, so you feel comfortable with the indexing, completing 10 batches, which is probably more than that, but so give yourself some time to learn. Again, one of the problems is every project is different, and the projects change. They move along. Okay, they give you like 7 to 10 days to finish your batch. That's so they can keep the project moving, and then it goes back to the church. Feel free to ask questions anytime along the way here. So these quick batches, they
You select one of those.
sure. This Veterans Administration Master Index is pretty easy. There were like two or three cards. So if you want to pick one of those, and the way you put things for your favorites is you just click on a star here like this. You just click on that star and it'll send it into your favorites when you click on the favorites over here. Does that make sense?
So I guess you have to do 2 of them because it's at the beginning instead of the end, because you don't know if it's going to be your favorite. So
Well, yeah. Yeah, after you do it, then you click it. But it is easier to keep doing the same project, like to do, I know people who do a batch every day, I know people who do a batch every Sunday, I know, whatever works for you is great. But if you keep doing the same project, that project gets easier and easier and easier. Okay? But again, that project doesn't last forever. And you need to be careful because even though there were draft cards from all the different states, some states would have a little bit different rules in the project instructions than others. Because every single project is set up with the church and agreed upon what they want to index, what fields they want to index. The England ones, all the shires, they're doing those. The formats are almost the exact same, but some of them want you to, if you can tell that it's supposed to be to expand the abbreviations, others they don't. So you need to read the project instructions so we don't have people sound nervous. So go ahead, let's just go ahead and do this Veterans Administration Master Index if you want to download one of those. And probably none of us like to read the directions. That just takes time, takes more time than doing the project probably. But it is important that we read the directions. One of the most basic directions is to type what you see. Is always a great way to go. And so project instructions, they're right here at the top with that little I. They're also down here at the any time. You need to get into those. So this says index all military service cards. Below is an example of the document and how to index it. That's a great thing to pull up and have on the side. Just have that open so you can flip back to it if you need to. They're showing you where the death dates are. Also, if you notice on this, when I was doing one, there's an enlistment date. It isn't asked for, so make sure you're they've got lots of dates here. Death, birth, discharge, death, birth, and discharge. And so that's a good little tool to just flip up that comes up with the project instructions. Then there'll be a little thing, what to remember about this project. They show the front and back of the card, sometimes multiple cards. Type given names and surnames. Do not correct misspellings or expand abbreviations. You can include punctuation on this versus the desktop program, but it's not required. If they have an alias or a nickname, put or in the middle of it. And I have a printout. It's very little type, but on the basic directions, if you want a copy of that. Additional information, this one has tells you how to do more entries. This little symbol up here at the top where you add entries, and then a garbage can where you delete entries. So those tools up there are helpful. And then about duplicate images. I think a lot of people make mistakes about duplicate image. A duplicate image is like an exact Xerox copy, an exact photocopy. Because sometimes they'll be like 3 or 4 people that have the same name, but all their information's different, and some people just are like, oh yeah, that's a duplicate, but it's not. It has to be the exact copy. And then the rest of this is handwriting help. Here's a place where you can get basic indexing guidelines as well, down here at the bottom. And those, I have a copy of those if anyone wants those. So this one has 5 cards. Mine has 5 cards. How many did you guys get? You got 5 too? Okay, 5 sets. Okay, so the first thing we always do is say, should this be indexed? Yes, 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 yes. And then you're going to fill in these categories. Now, anytime you have a question, I should ask you 2 questions. Did you read the project instructions? And did you check this little purple question mark at each field? So at every field, there's a question mark there that should give you detailed information. So if ever you have a question, you should be clicking that little purple question mark for each field. Everyone see where that purple question mark is? That should answer most every question you might have. Don't do all capitals. Although if you do, the computer fixes it at the end, but and make sure surname, given name is filled in there. Middle name goes with it. Chicago. Again, they don't want you to fill in. So we've got a lot of years on here. If you look at the top, this is from World War I. So your discharge dates are going to be 1919. Birth dates are going to be, on mine, 1895, and died in 1923. If you can't figure it out, they just want you to put the last the 2 digits that are shown. Now the blank, just leave it blank. Now, if it has an asterisk, like right here, you have to put something in there. You have to fill it in blank. That's that first one next to the paper airplane, going this way. Don't hit the next one. That will wipe out all your work. That'll make your whole thing blank. Can you see which one I'm talking about? I don't think I will find it. Maybe I do. Yeah. Okay, so this one just marks that field blank. This one marks your whole entry blank. So I'll only go for this one. This will mark this field unreadable. This will mark your whole thing unreadable. Some of those other things are probably for our next class. Shortcut.
How much you discharge?
Yeah, discharge daylight there. How are you doing?
We ended up with some reason for the divorce reasons for the veterans.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea where you got that from.
Well, you can either do the divorce record, or you can send it back and get a, go back here. And type click in here.
Click?
Yep, click. That just means they're shorter projects. I just pulled up a project and it has like, well, the other day, one that had like 660 things, and I was like, when am I ever going to find time to do those all at once? Okay, and then search.
So click on the star.
Well, the star will just put it in your favorites. Just click on it. might be wanting to say that.
Yeah, I got into
You can
this.
hit manage this. Something like that.
I hit this.
Yep. And then let's, click in here.
Pardon?
Oh, click. The QUIC. Yeah, sure.
Index 11,000 and 1,400,000 again.
For some reason, yours isn't bringing it up. I don't know why. It's not English. Oh, click intermediate. This actually must be an intermediate project we're working on. You can click them both. They can both do that.
14. Yeah. Well, how can we do more than?
Yeah. See, this is considered.
Okay.
That's why you didn't show
I'm
it.
turning chicken,
No. Some intermediate projects are easier than the other. Let me go Kentucky.
Okay.
Then just leave it blank. Just move on now.
All right.
Yep.
All right.
So this one shouldn't be in there, should it? That big all hazard and Norton.
No, I do that. Do as much of the information as there.
Really?
Yeah.
There's nothing there.
Sure. Tells here is resident.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
Name and
Yeah, the birthday.
birthday?
and that was it.
Yep.
He didn't enlist, he didn't die, he didn't get discharged.
Well, he might have.
Well,
Or they went down
Maybe
a car
he
on
was physical.
I don't know.
okay. So this is, this cheat sheet will always show up for us.
Yep.
That all, that's all.
On almost every project, they try and have one of
No,
those.
that- So if I go to, this is an
That's
example.
different project. Yeah, this is
Then
one
if I
example.
go to the place that
Exactly.
Pardon?
Yep.
I'm the one guy, not sure when you. And if I go to somebody real,
Oh, yes, this looks like it should be in that. That one looks like it should be in that. Does anyone have two cards on their page? I mean, not a front and a back, but two cards for two different people?
yeah, the same card, two different names. No, two different given names.
For two different people?
List over
Or
here.
the same guy?
If they abbreviate
Mine's the same name.
Just what
Yeah,
you
but it's
say.
different stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that guy, since they don't have any birthday. No, they didn't. It's in there. Okay.
So if you click there, you can create another, so do this one for this guy, and then we'll create another one for him.
Yeah, and then ask you when you get to the bottom.
Yep, if you want to do the little one. Yep. Alright.
Up at 96 instead of 1896,
No, but 1897.
even though they have.
Yeah, it should be it. Getting your Alpha World War I.
So, yeah, start mark done.
I've done some when they were Civil War veterans, born in 1805, discharged in 1865, or 65, so I'm ready to Civil War. Got these two guys here. Was the war fighting World War I.
But this group is for
Are you
World
supposed to put the street address somewhere?
No, just the St. Paul and
So I did that.
Yep. That's all
And
it
what's
needs.
this over here?
What I'm looking
It's
for.
probably the street address, but you don't need to, you don't need to do that.
Well, don't worry about that. I'm looking for this list of.
Okay, then.
No, there's no death date, there's the birth, no death.
Yeah, that'll be the next person, next image.
Oh, no.
Don't create another one unless you have two on here. Yep.
See, now you got two.
It's the same person.
But it's not spelled the same.
It has to look exactly the same as the last one. Well, to be an exact.
All right, well, they changed the CV to TP,
Well, they spelled it differently, so you have to put it down.
If it's spelled two different ways, you can type this or this, put them both.
Under surname.
Mhm.
Is that right? Is that-
Yep, it'll make room.
I'll just put it on the next one.
You put on the next one, we can do give a name,
Well,
or you type two of them.
yeah, just type two. Okay, you short index, what you answer the question. So there's two cards.
Can you go?
Oh, yeah.
Nice, you got some confetti?
Yeah, lots of. Yeah, I did this earlier batch.
Chef is for a living.
Oh, I know.
For a living, what do
Well,
you
he
make
does it
money on
every
it?
day.
Good. And you should be up there.
Maybe not.
Let's talk about a few of these right up here. Okay, places where you can manage your work. So I'm just going to click down on this batch thing. If you decided you were done and you wanted to submit it, you could submit it here, submit it at the end, or submit it by doing that little paper airplane. If you decided you wanted to return it, you could click here. So this is just kind of a shortcut to get you back to different things. Put in settings if you want to put that you only want English or something. And then over here, if you go down on the data entry thing, this project, we're doing form entry. Table entry, I could change it and go across like this, if you like that way. Column entry probably isn't an option, it looks like. That would be more for like maybe a census record. Or row entry, again, that's just going to look the same as that last one. Sometimes they'll give you options. If you don't want your toolbar to show, I wouldn't suggest that one. And if you want a ruler, you can click on Show Ruler. That's especially nice when you're doing, we'll see if I can find my ruler, like a census or something where you want to keep track of what line you're on. You want to move it up and down. You can also change your ruler color if you like that. You don't like green. So those are some other things that are up there. Ask some questions. Again, the biggest questions come because the projects change every time you get on here.
This is interesting. He died before you enlisted.
I think that's an error.
Died for 1864.
Scroll down. All the way
That'd
down.
be
Okay,
1864.
and then put
Somebody did 1800,
Yeah.
period entry 2.
That's your, oh, the 19.
You can call
Oh,
But they didn't look for World War I. Well,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
that says 1861 to dash, whatever that means. Veterans Administration.
Yeah, there are some Civil War.
Do the best you can. You just
There are
have
some
to.
Civil War. veterans in
You
there.
think in this one?
Yeah, I think they got.
So you think there are some in this
Oh,
one of World War I?
Oh, I know they were. I did a whole bunch in the previous batch.
Yeah, this is just this batch is just started.
64.
I've only done a few in this.
I can't get to the confirm. Discharged. That's what I want.
When do we start putting
Oh.
information?
What?
Right, your sample.
Well, I'm looking at the sample. Well, the
Okay.
batches, I know.
Okay, yeah.
Which one
So
to
here-
add,
oh,
because I
okay,
can
go back there.
always include, I can always look at this, I can then find that.
Yeah, go back
Right,
there.
thanks.
You want to get your form for input.
No,
So you have to say, yes, this should be indexed. Should this image be indexed?
yes is already in there.
So click next image. Yeah, you're just verifying yes.
So I clicked on yes.
Now click on this.
Oh,
Yeah. If you click on that, it'll say no. And then it'll ask you, should this one be indexed?
sure.
Okay, yes, click on next image. You're probably going to say yes on every single one of them, unless it's an
Okay.
exact photocopy. Or unless it's just blank,
Okay.
or unless it's Yeah, so click through all these, because you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 images. You've got
Okay,
5 cards.
why are there 525?
Because this batch has 5 cards in it.
Oh, okay, so that's just the set.
Yep, so image 3 of 5,
Okay.
and you're on 4 of 5. Click again, 5 of 5. And click again, and it'll take you back to the first one, and there's your...
Okay.
There's your...
So I have to look at all of them.
You do. That's kind of a...
So it's hard to follow into it.
I know. They try to figure out that. People get
Okay,
confused.
SKY would be Russian. How do you know what this is? No, but the SKI is Polish and SKY is Russian.
So now where's
Type it all
that?
in the given name, I guess.
First one
Here
is
and,
concern.
Unless there's a comma, usually.
I'm looking at James Irving.
Oh, yeah, Ernest.
Up here on this line.
Ernest James.
No.
This is probably,
I'm just looking at the other ones that have the
Yeah.
first one that's
Right, this is.
well, I have no clue.
Where do we find
Change
that?
it to,
That to be correct. Well, then we get to move it down to show.
this doesn't tell because it's not really a thing, that's usually best judgment, I don't know.
Pardon?
I use your best judgment. It does say if you're not sure if it's a given name or a surname, type in a given name.
Oh, that's everything. Oh, there you go.
I will.
Is there, back in the instructions, I use this for the handwritten records. When they had the pages included, and
Yeah, so.
there were no lines across,
Yeah.
so you can keep track of it. Cemetery records in Georgia.
One.
Okay, there's your.
So that's it, that's
Okay,
it.
that's the list.
But I'm not sure yours is, I'm not sure this one is. There's an exception to everything.
That's what the,
Use your best judgment. James Ernest or Ernest James?
well, the instructions over here says
Yeah,
the last one is all filed by last
okay,
name.
do it that way then.
So,
Yeah, probably is. If you guys all download them, so we're covered in all the J's. Now,
Got the guys in the description.
Tacoma wash. So Tacoma and then wash.
the break.
Tacoma and wash. They don't want you to,
To do that, but it's,
they want you to type what you see on that.
you know, or something.
Yeah.
And I'll just say,
Oh,
don't,
Yeah, he had 350,000 1 year. He told me.
Where it says died, and they'll have a date there.
here's the blank, so just a little, so just the one.
So what's on that road? I was gonna go back up, so. Well, I heard.
I think I knew the 6 mine, so
A lot of them are. Yeah. A lot of them were discharged at the end of the war, First World War, and re-listed a couple of years later. Insert soldiers from World War II. I've had a couple like that.
no, wait a minute, no, he enlisted in 36, and he was charged in 39. He died, he just did for the, whatever.
3 years.
Yeah.
Before the shooting started.
I all the state.
Oh, we didn't get into World War II.
They used your plus sign here, so I know by that.
Well, the shooting was too. They. Oh, yeah. They got out. Yeah, I know, but. You don't myself. I would. That wipe me out. This charge.
So trying to get each of these soldiers standing there. These aren't very hard to read, but sometimes if you're doing a pencil checker or something, if you'll think of that person and even sometimes if you can't read them, if you'll maybe say a little prayer and ask that person to say, I can't tell what this says, I need to help you. And sometimes, all of a sudden, you know what it says. But every record's important. Most people will have lots of records. Some people have only a few, and so every record is important.
Where's Bono? I was going to say, that was, and who was Terry George? Yeah, yeah. Iceland, something, never heard of it. Yeah. Part of it is not Iceland. I'm like, that's what he said. You want to submit that, what he's done. Uh-huh. Lebanon. Uh-oh. Look on that. 9 issues remaining. Where you go? Yeah, 9 issues remaining. Oh, see, so
Yeah,
you're
and
in
then
there.
there's Oklahoma. Lebanon, Oklahoma. There's a Lebanon, Oklahoma. What's the other state?
Well, you just gotta go through, control the whole
There's one
thing.
in both.
Control the, that's a whole cow. No, the whole thing. You have 9.
Oh,
That could be any problem.
Yeah, they're gonna have a student death center.
What makes it he's not done or something?
But it's,
It's supposed to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just read the instructions.
Well, that's right. Somebody else has to figure it out again.
Yeah. Well, it makes it easier.
Yeah, right. So when I started, I'm thinking in the 1900s, because I kind of grew on the blue. Well, then,
You always can't be enough someone else to look at it, and
yeah,
also that we just do our best, and
And it keeps track of them on the system.
yeah, I know, and
How good or
so,
bad you did it right.
yeah, I know.
right, but that's
Just know that when I started out, everything, when something you go back, I should have noticed that should have been.
Yeah. I have someone.
Yeah, well, yeah, then I realized there was something, and I finally got it, it's like, I got it verified. I'm pretty sure I can't go
I
back.
was like 40 years old.
we download it all at the same time, and we're all and that's how the example is.
Yeah, so,
Some of them will have a comment there, and some of them won't.
That's how mine is. Some have the comments, some didn't. But probably, since we all downloaded it at the same time, we'll probably get in the order and stuff and share and stuff. So, easier, right? You should have been this part for Veterans Day. Veterans Day. It was probably all be done by then, especially since we got all this nice like parts.
So, good.
Couple books on the floor, 65. And then we just try to do a PR. And that's really consistent with that.
Okay.
So these are valuable viewing units.
Is this 1806, 1906?
This is 65. And it's level
Oh, that's a
65.
65.
That's a 1965.
You sure it's 19,
Mhm.
not 18?
Yeah, so 1920.
Okay, so that's 1860.
That's just church. Again, there are a lot of dates on these cards. Birth and death, those are valuable. But don't get them mixed up if you got them listed in this chart. Also, there's something that a lot of people don't know that it's called share a batch. So if you're working on a batch and you're really frustrated, I'll just pull one up here, another one. You can call me, or you can call someone and give them this number that's right up here. This is the code to the batch you're working on. And like if you called me, I could pull this number up on my computer. I can't type anything and I can't change anything, but I can look exactly at what you're looking at.
How do you know if there is that number up?
It's on whatever batch you're working on.
But I mean, like, if, let's just say I called, say.
Oh, you called me and you say,
Yeah, how do you
I'm
do
having
that?
trouble. Can you share a batch with, can you share that? Yeah, I pull it up and I type that number in. So the way it works is, well, let's see if I can do it. Let's see if I can remember where to go here. I think you go to this little spinning world. So open a shared batch. So tell me your code on yours. The very top of your
Oh, M9MD
M9MD.
hyphen HD.
We'll see if it will work with I didn't do capitals.
That looks like fun.
Okay, I'm viewing a shared batch. No information you run will be saved or submitted. Okay. So which page are you on? Which image? Okay, the first image. Is it Elmer Milton? So if you had a question you wanted to ask me that, say you say, I'm confused, I don't know on this.
And one thing I've noticed is sometimes they have, like, on the image they have the first name and the second, and sometimes it's the other way. Last name, you know what I mean, surname.
Well, we were just all talking. We all downloaded these, and they're all with J, so I'm pretty sure the first name is the surname. And that's how your form says, the surname first, and that's how the example. So see how I can look at exactly what you're looking at and help you? Now see this place where it says help? Oh, that's not what, oh yeah, help resources, let's see. It's supposed to give you people in your stake. That's giving you indexing guidelines.
On the third one on that batch, it says Jalbert, Edmund. So you don't.
Yeah, I think that J's the last surname. So this help over here, I'm going to see if this helps. Consultant resources. No, that's not. That's just my keyboard.
It must be Ohio, that one, because I have a Cleveland and an O.
Yeah, that's Ohio.
So just put an O. If it says just O, just put O.
Probably already done.
Yeah, because you keep those.
Don't make the assumption that it's Ohio.
Don't expand. Nope, just put O.
Why does it look
You know it.
If you click on that little, click on that little thing that under the state and see if it says to expand it or not on the little question mark. Type is written. But that doesn't mean another project wouldn't say expand abbreviation.
I had a project. Said,
Go ahead and
if you know what it required skill.
But he didn't, there is no discharge now.
Well, then you got,
You gotta put a blank in. Yep, let's type in blank or.
yeah,
you can click on this. Don't just type in blank. Click on that. And that will mark it blank. Or I think it's Control D.
Okay.
it is controlled.
And down here it is marked.
Okay, click on it again.
Well, this statement says die on one.
Yeah.
It won't let you submit.
Discharge months worth.
If there are asterisks that don't have something in it, it won't let you submit until you mark them blank.
So,
Two different people?
reported off.
Two different people?
Appears.
1898.
Segregated.
Right, assume it's the-
No. Because of the award that we're talking about, you guys spotted.
Might be. Died in
So you probably go by both those names?
He died in 1919 as well.
Yep.
Might be.
Yeah, just said
19.
No.
No,
Yeah,
So
that's
we'll
one
do
way.
two different names for
What's the
that.
death date?
I would think so.
Yep. So Mark, we're still gonna do it, and I'll see what.
So I say,
Yep, go ahead and index it.
Yeah, so he
Yep,
left the
index
army
it,
in
and index that one.
1919, died in 1954.
okay. So that,
Yep, index that one.
okay. I can't tell if that's what you,
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the exact same, but it's okay, so I see on this one,
Find the bottom.
Yeah. see how you have two people, you can index it. At the bottom of this,
Some World War I.
you can create another entry, right here. Or you can click on this, and you can create another entry. Either way.
Okay, now I got it.
Yep, choose your two entries.
There, remind me again.
Aren't these nice new computers, everybody loves those new computers?
Now, how do I get my key over here to look at? And my memory will not
Oh, yeah.
hold all that again.
Oh, yeah, just under project instructions.
But,
Don't
scroll down, scroll down. No, you just go flat that way. Okay, now, okay, but now I need to get rid of the example.
Okay, go back to the indexing. You got sample there, indexing.
Okay.
Yep, perfect.
Yeah. I did know.
We had an even bigger.
I'll sign up with yours.
Okay.
So, we have 40 people that are doing indexing. We've got 40 people that do that.
I'm glad
Yeah,
you
that's
shared it out
42.
there.
According to Bishop, it's just.
Karen, I think on this,
Yeah,
one,
you-
they do have
have
their
worked for a
last
while.
number, so they're like, yeah, what's in here?
They all are.
So it's kind of like,
It's kind of tricky when the last name is James, because you think that you want that.
Yeah, well, I had a brother, James, so that was the tricky one too.
Why not?
Two first name.
Yeah. But I guess you just have to kind of look at them and see like,
Well, and try and, go with the directions. Dave listed the surname first, the example of the surname first.
actually, yeah, 'cause this one in the sample was saying, I think, first, the surname and the given name, but this is the opposite of what they said.
1816, 1961, this is a Civil War guy.
Civil War.
Who's a Civil War veteran.
I don't see them listed, but just discharge.
And I see this chapter, will be 10/6/1962. This one is 1862. But if he died, you don't have one of those dates. Man, these guys were so fast. When you look at the guys enlisted 6 months later, he's dead. He's got caught in a massive
Wow.
Sounds like Vietnam.
meat grinder called
World War One.
Belgium over the top,
Sounds like Vietnam.
chasing trenchers.
Yeah, I knew a guy personally, but I didn't know 6 months. Went to school.
Yeah, this veteran's badge.
Yeah.
I did it earlier when I did Part D on insurance. I did 925.
900 of them?
Yeah.
Wow.
In batch D. And I guess this is batch.
This is
No, F. I missed E altogether.
F?
Yeah, no. That's what we're in.
Yeah, this is F.
That's what I love. Let me ask you something.
Okay.
One question. I was, I got tired.
No, when you go to submit the batch, it has to make it correct. Nothing
I
much.
went to project to Nebraska marriage. It was like 70% done. So I clicked on don't.
I clicked.
Sometimes they find a problem with the project,
Yeah.
and so they just take them all back and fix it, and then
Take it out again.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah, that'll happen.
Well, I found another project, so I had no idea. I don't know where I was at.
I love doing the marriage records, and I like the business too, but the marriage records, if you've got both the parents' names and everything, all the, such an incredible finding.
Yeah, but find your own.
Researching. So indexing helps you be a better researcher also because you understand what records are out there. You also understand what information might be on records that aren't, so you know to try and look at the images and that kind of stuff, or extra information might be on there.
Another one, this is true, too. Another side of the.
That's good. So,
Review all of those.
There's lots of them. Okay. There's a room we use, or it's a computer room where they read on index.
Like on
Noise
text,
decay.
They read.
They did 350,000 one year.
until you finish all 5 of them, and then once you're all done, you submit batch.
It felt like they were on
Until you submit batch today.
Well, yeah. So,
even the non-members, the Catholic,
Yes,
yes,
oh, yeah.
batch is never
a
submitted.
big indexer.
people can have index fines or index
We're here to
missions
learn.
or-
Not to do.
Okay.
They went up on the British downtown. The British.
Keep working on that England. Keep working on those England, they need some more records.
Right there.
No, we're not doing that, we're trying to records.
All right, I need the Wiltshire parish records to get in there.
Well, when they load them in,
But yeah, they've been doing everything else but Derbyshire. Derbyshire?
Oh, it's not there, it's started.
All right.
And it's not Shire.
Okay, I need to go to England so I can plan. You come in the kitchen all day
I
long.
know, I have.
My maiden name is G, but apparently in England it's G, so who knows.
You're right.
My grandpa came from England.
well, here, it depends on which side of the country you're on, whether it's T or G too. Because I've known people with both, that take both ways.
So what nationality we are too.
Yeah.
Okay, how else can I help you indexers?
Well, it's pretty interesting.
Questions?
I just try and do 10 a day.
And that's it?
No, 10 a day.
Okay.
Well, here's one that's 99% done.
Yeah, there's not a lot of them.
You want more?
No, it's not one.
Those are really hard when they're like
All
that.
indexing batches are completed or checked out.
Yeah, those. So
You do Colorado divorce.
there's a place here up at the top where you can sort. So under find batches, see this where it says sort? A lot of people like this. So it says least complete, difficulty, A to Z, newest projects, oldest projects, most complete, least complete. I usually like to put them as least complete just because then you can, if it's only 99, your chances of even getting one aren't very great. So here, when you start a project when it's new, then you have a number of days or weeks to keep doing that same project.
They let you review them.
Derbyshire. Derbyshire. And like I say, then you're better at it if you keep doing the same project. You find your accuracy is better. Does that make sense? You can check out like 10 batches at a time. As you can see, I can only check out 3 because I have 7 checked out. There's not a ton of benefits to that, but sometimes, like if you find a project you really like, or somebody's handwriting that's really good, or maybe they're typed, or and you download a bunch at the same time.
But they're only good for what, 4 days?
10 days. I think it's 10 days, and then they're sent back.
But you can read them.
Yeah, because I
7 days
think I
sometimes.
reserved one and it
The
expired.
closer it gets to the end, or like I said, if there's a problem with it or a bug with it, sometimes they just take them back anyway.
Derbyshire Parish Register.
With the old program with the desktop version, it was kind of nice because you could download it and work on when you weren't online, and then load them all back to the church. That's probably the biggest drawback in my mind of the web indexing. You have to be online all the time, and in certain areas where that's really expensive, or people don't have that, unlimited internet, or people who are working, or flying, or traveling, sometimes they would like to download a lot and work on them and then send them back. And that option isn't available for them.
Then if you're working on it, when you stop working, you don't get back to it until it expires.
And they go back.
Does it go back when you're done? Or
Yes.
just-
All your work is saved. Yes. All your work is saved. Someone else will finish it. Because sometimes you'll get a batch that says, this is partially indexed. Please review the previous indexer's work, complete it, and send it back. Now, the thing is, they get credit for those names, you don't.
Oh,
Unless your batch is complete, you don't get credit for it. Sorry.
well, that's no fair.
But in heaven, you get credit.
Okay.
But not on the,
Well, it's only-
not on the computer.
Yeah.
Yeah, not on the computer. So, yeah. That's a drawback, but that's why you do quick batches. You get working steady, mark.
I don't care about it.
And it takes a shorter period of time. Some people love the cassette, other people think it's dumb, but.
Well, I did, okay. Yeah, we'll take a
Then
look at
you
it.
read the information that you said. There it is.
Yeah, really good if you want to just cry your eyes
Oh,
out.
no, we were talking about.
Here, let's put in this nice Sunday movie. I was crying, my wife was crying, my daughter was crying, so I said, I'm leaving, I can't cry this time. She would watch the whole movie. I said, get back here. She said, no, it's sad. Oh, I.
When I had it done.
Yeah.
Yeah, tell them that. So you watch it together.
Well, yeah, I will watch. Thank you.
Okay, so he did say it was the head president.
It is good. The Lord's Girl.
Yeah.
Her story.
I know, but you like.
Yeah, little girl. Redeeming quality.
I don't know, I did it there.
I think it should be more like. Well, you're thinking like, how
He did.
What?
And then they don't people go out probably my dad.
Yeah, you like this.
Yeah.
Even somebody-
I've stumbled into 3, 4, 5 pictures. Some of these guys really.
I'll be right back.
I need to learn to direct.
Maybe that's how I'm sure the tree is. Sometimes they'll-
23 years.
Manufacturer.
Maybe you're not like my wife and I.
I think it's say, one B.
They were for a long time, right? They're by San Antonio.
Sunday, a lot of people do that. Yeah. A lot of people do that.
Yeah, because it's right after city or town.
Question.
And right before city and town.
Procedural wise.
Yeah, she must have been there for 23 years. That's gotta be one.
But now it's I've got several.
Okay.
I don't know.
You want to get
No, I don't want to.
Hey, the
No,
one.
I don't want to keep them all.
Hey, you were just working on.
I'm just, I didn't finish yet. Over on trying to work. When I did, next time, they all came back.
That had to be one of
It would be nice if that's, maybe that would come back.
something like that.
Yeah.
And it'll send them back. If you don't click on it and send them back like in a week or 7 days, it's
They'll
gonna send
take
them
them
back.
back. Who's
Yeah.
done?
So see how this says return.
Oh, well. If it stays on that.
Well, no, they put it on my desk. Yeah, but we'll see, but who gets the information?
Yeah.
That's what I don't know. I don't know who,
I was talking to Steve Shackleton.
Now that's the guy that's
He was
going.
saying,
You can do that. Okay?
I did one thing in another state, and it was different from the other one. And I said, yeah, all the states are different. She says, you mean you have 50 different forms for each state?
we don't like to tell them what we do.
See, England is one country, a lot of counties. It's a state with a lot of counties.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what makes it hard.
You know.
So that was last year and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was last year and a half, the church goals. They were kind of doing both, they kind of close up this program and then open up this one. And they were totally like, no, it's not
Some counties, they
consistent.
put them online.
This is one project, this is another project. Yeah, they put it all along. And that's, okay, so then,
Yeah, $50
sit there,
Well, like people that goes to
now,
FedEx.
it says
Oh, really?
Yeah.
that, yeah, there's an discharge date, and because there's an asterisk there, it's not, you can just accept, you're checking it, and I'll learn from one to finish that, then it'll mark it blank, or you can go ahead and that. So go ahead, put a day, go ahead and forward this back to them. Some of them, they're very good. Oh, yeah, that's again, that's the thing that I had, so that's when I do it, that's the first step, double check, and check you didn't leave on anything. Well, we don't know that, yeah, they would have to have, they would probably have to have a day.
Looks to me like she's got some.
Yep.
Oh, see, they're both.
Oh, that's something I do. Oh, that's great. And it gives you options to either do another one, or this one is in your queue.
Thank
This
you.
is that divorce, that
Oh,
one
yeah,
there.
okay.
So we can either get rid of that, or it'll just naturally be taken back.
I would do it.
Okay, click on this. You're gonna go back to your, queue here, that says you've done 5 records, the ones you just did. So this one right here, we're gonna put manage your batches. You're gonna click on, do you wanna do this one in the next week? 10 days? Okay, you click here, this will watch. This is kind of disappointed system, so far let's move it. VRU and then return to selected action. So your queue is empty, now look down here. Oh, you can set a goal if you want. If you want to look at that, so scroll, and then just on that. Yeah, so this shows you didn't do any and then today, look, you did close there. So if you want to set a goal, you hit this target, and you can set a goal. Like if you say, I want to do 100 this month. Yeah, it'll keep track, and it'll say you need to do this many more. Yeah.
To be your guilty conscience for you.
So you do that right here. What's your goal?
Let's do,
How many you done? You done 87.
oh, yeah,
So you've done 30 this
30,
month?
30 tonight.
Nice.
We gotta keep
You
the
could do
pressure
100
off.
this month.
Yeah.
But we're in the middle of the month.
Keep it
You
straight.
could say, I do this month. Yeah, I have it. Now, what's a reasonable expectation? Talk about
But what I was,
I'm just gonna do
I've had trouble over time.
And like I said, some people like to just do a bath on Sunday. Some people just do a bath on Sunday. And then maybe work on the other post. Or they might be researching, or they might be,
But sometimes it wasn't for the.
and I'll do that, I'll be like today when I came during the
I am
hours.
so happy that I got this on,
Might be
because
the one behind it.
when I get released from Young Men, one day I'll be a Sunday school teacher. 5 sets of teachers are teaching this one class.
Oh, you
This goes back.
And so me and Scott Schreier were sharing this one class.
Now,
That means I only get to teach once every 2 weeks.
we don't.
Oh, wow, well, and now is it 1:20?
And so now, yeah.
Yeah, no, some of those groups, they have so many
So it's now,
teachers.
are you kidding me? I was like, okay, it's like here.
Yeah, well, that's a good guy to have the heart.
Oh, he's terrific.
Yeah.
He's terrific. But it's like, I like to do a little bit more in the ward, you know, I'd like to.
Oh, yeah.
So I was really happy when Sister Helen called me.
That's good.
Anybody give you?
How do we turn this off?
Only gave me one. You're the only one after help.
This is allow one viewer to join. No, not now, because we're done.
That's how help.